Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment and question comes from Tony Lancer in response to a new Fantom for a new year, a video I did in March 2022. Tony writes, I'd like Roland to make the Fantom-O be class compliant. It's criminal that such a wonderful and powerful board cannot be incorporated in an iPhone, iPad like the Montage or Kronos do. That's the tipping point for me. Alas, NAMM 2022 is around the corner, and although I'm not hopeful for any new releases, I'm eager to see what's new from the big boys or other guys. Well, NAMM 2022 was pretty much a bit of a damn squid. And I've said this before, I suspect Roland's developed a framework for delivering keyboard equipment connectivity to a computer on the current range or equipment that has been issued to the market space since the beginning of the ARIA era. And because it has applied so many instruments and support equipment, they don't want to re-engineer it as it's all pretty stable. But I agree, and I'm no software engineer, but I think it would be really good if Roland did make the instruments and equipment class compliant. I really do think that. My embedded Linux developer friend told me that it probably would be a rewrite of the operating systems, and I do not expect that to cost the manufacturer. I do not expect that is a cost the manufacturer, to be honest, is willing to bear. Tony then writes back, I get you. In fact, it even goes past the ARIA era. I think USB audio started with Fantom or Fantom X, USB 1.1. I found it bizarre that the MC line is class compliant, but the big boys aren't. There's also must be something going on behind closed doors that makes them decide what they can do, and perhaps class compliant isn't on there. Sure, the OS from MC and other stuff is different, but the design decisions make me wonder if Roland wants to improve on all fronts or just some fronts. The PR about deploying class compliance instruments, it would be massive and probably would stop all this nonsense relating to OS system upgrades and support. But only time will tell. Every time you run into a Roland rep, and I know at least 2 follow the channel and Instagram feed, we should let them know the situation needs to be addressed. But somehow I don't think they're listening. Next comment or question comes from Harold Horse Posture. And this was in response to how to back up and restore patches on the Roland System-1, a video I did in September 2020. Harold writes, here's what I got recently. Cost 69 euros. Not got it fully integrated into setup yet, as everything with the System-1 seems vague, opaque and downright unfathomable. Can't even get it to work as it should with Cubase 10.5. Can't get the machine or its plug out. It has ProMars registered. It was brought new a month ago in 2022, so the plug out ought to be valid as the machine wasn't a resale. Just a quick question. Are the factory patches downloaded fresh as part of the firmware, or do you have to recycle the original as supplied patches from the machine? The reason I ask is my original System-1, I have 2 of them, is displaying some bad audio quality and dropout, sound changes, distortion and apparent random control change sound issues. Repressing the 1 to 8 button momentarily restores the patch to how it should sound, but only for a few seconds. Wondering if the patch files are corrupt somehow. Any info on how the plug out. Needless to say, the factory manual is not much use. So this video of yours and the rest of the channel content is a lifesaver for us regular folk. Well done, sir. And then there's a link to something which he got from an editor. I've got to be honest and say that all the user manuals are not the most user friendly. I mean, the early Roland ones were complete gobbledygook. The ARIA ones aren't bad, but you have to kind of know what you're trying to do before you go searching in the manual. And then typically it will have like a short paragraph or a short set of bullet points, and then that's kind of it. So the first thing is to understand here in terms of the plug out is the ProMars plugin registered to you, or did you buy it off someone else, and is it registered to them? If the latter, then the plug out should still work on the synth. But if you were to ever basically overwrite it, that's it, it's gone. You'd have to buy it again. I may have misread the question, but was the ProMars plug out installed? If not, then the person who brought it and registered it will need to install it. You cannot sell the plug out. So this is a common misconception that a lot of people have, and people have argued with me on the channel. But as far as I can see, I think I'm still right here, in that the plug out is registered to the cloud account, and then you register your synth to the cloud account, and then you can install the plug out on the synth. You can't register the plug out to the synth, whereas in the early days you could register the plug out to the synth, but that's not how it works anymore. So if you buy something off somebody else and they say, oh, so and so and so and so installed, yes, it is installed, but if you did a factory reset, it would wipe that plug out and it wouldn't be installed, and you wouldn't have the rights to reinstall it. Many people get caught out on that, and a lot of people say this when you see listings on selling platforms like eBay, for argument's sake. They turn around and said, comes with the following plug outs. Well, that's all well and good, but not the first time you do a full factory restore on it. Guess what? That plug out's gone. Bang, blown away. So you need to understand that subscription model that Roland are operating now, because it catches a lot of people out. The other key part of integrating into your setup is the installation of the Roland drivers on the target computers. And until you've undertaken that, basically the ARIA equipment won't talk to your computer, not a hope in hell. Factory patches are held on the System-1 ROM, and will be reinstalled every time you do a factory reset. And this is the point: if you do a factory reset, you're liable to wipe out your plug outs, because they will be wiped from memory as well, and you'll have to reinstall them from the Roland cloud. So I've seen instances where ACB technology does generate random guff, and wigs out, goes wrong, and the factory reset normally will return it to normal. But there are the caveats on the factory reset, like I just said. So they kind of get you by the short and danglies, whichever way you go. And a lot of times, the only way to fix a lot of the ARIA problems is a factory reset.